Hi, I've been trying to come live. I'm so sorry. I've attempted a couple times. I hope that this is working. Just getting ready here to do the winter paint night with you. So I know today here in Ontario, our clocks have moved back or forward. I don't even know anymore. So yeah, that might be something that's kind of delaying things here today online, but who knows? Anyways, I'm so happy to be here with you. Welcome to my page, Painting with Megan. I offer monthly painting classes. They're all still in my video section on this page here, so you can always go back and check them out. And I do have some of them on YouTube as well, so Painting with Megan Fish on YouTube. So welcome if you're new. I have acrylic paint today. Primary colors, so yellow, red, blue, and the shades black and white. Okay. And I also have some brushes. Oh, it's working. I see somebody. Hello. It's been a little finicky today, me getting on here live. I don't know. Good old technology, right? I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm here and you're here, so thank you for joining. And yeah, and if you can't make it to this whole class, it is recorded, so you don't have to worry if you have other commitments or you're just kind of popping in to see what's up. This will be recorded. Okay, so yes, primary colors, as I had mentioned, plus black and white. And then I just have a variety of brushes here. So my little one just fell, but I have a flat brush or a fan brush. So that's something that I had mentioned that I wanted to kind of show people how to use a fan brush. And then, yeah, we have our classic Filbert and another small flat brush. Okay, but a variety is great. If you don't have this fancy, not so fancy fan brush, you don't have to worry if you don't have it. Okay, you can still do this class today with it, without it, with or without it. Which is why a flat brush comes in handy for that, so you can substitute. And if you really don't have that, honestly, I've made whole paintings with just Filberts. So you can just use a Filbert and you'll be okay. So I'm just going to give people a couple minutes to find me just because I am running a little late on my scheduled live today, just because I had mentioned I was just having some technical difficulties. I don't know why it just wouldn't let me go live. So sorry about that. But yes, I'm very excited to be here with you today. Maybe just let me know if you can see me, hear me, all the great things. My canvas here is a longer canvas today. Just fun to try something different. It's a 20 by 8. You can use any size canvas, so it does not have to be a long canvas. I had in the description canvas size 8 by 10 and up, so you don't have to worry if you don't have that size. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I see some people tuning in. All right. So yes, we are doing a winter forest scene today. So we're going to start with just getting some background colors in there in the distance. This painting is mostly white, so you're probably just going to want to have a whole lot of white on your palette or your paper plate like mine. All set. Perfect. Yep, I'm here. I made it. Thank you for waiting. All right, so I'm just going to use any brush right now. I'm just going to pick up this Filbert and I'm going to dip it into water and then onto my napkin. And we're just going to start priming our canvas with a little bit of, we're going to take a scoop of white, put it on that brush. So fairly decent amount of white here. Hope we got lots of white today. And you're going to go back and forth from one side to the other. We're just going to go about halfway. So I'm going to go all the way over here. I'm going to back mine up just so you can actually see it in the camera. I was so busy like trying to get on live. So here we are. All right. Let me know if you can see that, okay? All right. So I'm just taking scoops of white and putting it on here. if you see some super lumpy spots, just kind of soften them by going back and forth on top of them. And yes, you can use any size canvas. So as we go along today, of course, just let me know if you have any questions or if you're not sure about the materials you have. The goal of these classes that are here online is just to inspire you and show you that you can make, you don't need certain materials to create things, but I also wanted to show you like what to do with a fan brush if you have one, because I've had this hanging around for a little while and I'm still getting to learning this as well, getting to know it as well. So yeah, I'm just still coating this. Maybe you're already done if you have a smaller canvas. Maybe you're not. I'm just going to actually take this brush and dip it into water and then just add a little bit of water to my white. Just kind of stir it in there. This is going to help this spread a little bit easier as well, because acrylic paint that I'm using, you can use any type of paint, by the way. Watercolor might be a little bit fainter looking, or oil will take forever to dry, but any type of medium is totally fine. I just prefer acrylic. What kind of paints do you guys prefer if you're a painter, regular painter? So yeah, having that water into the white has helped me spread this across this large canvas here. So yeah, this could be a nice gift for somebody. I know that time of year is coming up. Okay, so I'm almost there. I've actually decided to go all the way. I know I said halfway, but I was just in the flow, so you might as well just go all the way, and if you just have half, that's fine too. I just love blending. Even though there's no color in here yet, it's still fun to just go back and forth. Painting is actually super relaxing as well, which is also why I like to offer these classes for you guys. My goal is once a month. I took some time off for a little bit from about, I think it was like May or April that I was last live. I did November, or sorry, this is November. I did October because I had a baby. So yeah, it's been a really fun journey so far with her, and just starting to get back into a little bit more painting things. And yeah, she's super awesome. I love hanging out with her, and one day we're going to paint together. You've probably seen tons of pictures online. Okay, so once you have the white on here, we're going to start mixing up our background colors now. So this is primed. The reason we did this just to keep it kind of wet for other colors to be applied. So I'm not going to worry about cleaning off my brush. I'm still going to use this brush. If you cleaned it, it's fine. I'm just going to get a little more white on it. And then you're going to dip into some blue and just kind of put it somewhere on your plate. And then add a little bit more white. We're just going for like a really light blue, okay? So like even lighter. This is really distant background colors we're using. This painting is mostly white. So we're just going to have some fainter colors in the background to start. Okay. So I have this like lighter, nice sky blue here. Okay, so a little bit of blue and more white. All right, so now we're going to find about the middle point, the halfway point of this canvas, but then we're going to go a little bit lower. So about here. I'll make a mark for you. So just below the halfway point. This is going to be our ground. And then up here is going to be the sky. So we're just doing basics, having a ground and a sky. You gotta have some sort of background before you can apply any sort of middle ground and details. Okay, so we're just going to come across here. It doesn't have to be straight. Think of this like ice or water or stuff in the deep into the woods. Okay, and then I'm going to take this brush, I'm going to dip it into water, And I'm going to add it into my blue that I have, that light blue. I just added some water into this paint. And now I'm going to go from that one edge to the other, and we're just going to go down to the bottom. Okay, this is just that undertone before the snow falls. And with that white underneath, it definitely helps to blend and soften things as you go along. I'm going to add a little more water to that paint again. You can be the judge of it just by knowing how well it's spreading for you. See how easy it is for me to go from one side to the other with just a little bit of water in my paint. If it's not moving for you very easily, the water will help. It just depends on your paint. Some paint is thicker than the other and some is thinner. So if it's kind of flowing for you easy, you don't need as much water. I have a tea. Perfect night for a tea. It's already getting dark. Okay, so I'm just smoothing that out. Just going back and forth from one edge to the other. And we're not cleaning the brush next either. So just so you know, we're just going to be dipping into more blues. So we don't need to clean it yet. So I learned a lot from Bob Ross, and he just goes from like one color to the next. And especially if you're using the same type of tones, you don't need to worry about cleaning it. If I were to go into yellow next, then I would definitely have to clean it because it would turn green. Okay, so I have a little bit of paint left on this brush, so you don't have to have too much on there. If there's a little bit left, that's totally fine. We're just going to be dipping into just the dark blue on its own, like just classic blue. Whatever kind of blue tone you have. Okay, so this is the sky. It's a little bit, I'm making it darker here at the top, and then there's going to be a little bit of like pinky purple in the middle. So basically I'm just going to start at the top, and I'm going to go back and forth again. Dipping into more blue. I paint quite thickly, so I think that also is why it moves easy for me, because I'm doing kind of like a section and then getting more paint. You can paint your edges too, if you would like, if your canvas has edges. I try to do it with the colors that I'm using. But sometimes I don't paint the edges and I just paint them black later, so that's probably what I'll end up doing. Okay, so with this dark blue, we're going to go down about here is fine, about 3 fingers width, so I'm just going to go down just a tad more. Okay, so just like that across. Okay. So about there is good. You know what? We're not going to clean our brush yet because we're going to make purple, and you need blue and red to make purple. Okay, so I have this light blue color here. I have dark blue on my brush from what we just did. I'm just going to take a little bit of my red. And I'm going to mix it into my lighter blue color, because that's going to make a nice purple. This one kind of looks like a lavender color. Any kind of purple is totally fine. If you want it more on the reddish side, like more brighter purple, I guess, you just use a little bit more red. I'm kind of going for more of the blue toned purple, so it has a little more blue in it than red. But any kind of purple is totally fine. So I'm just making sure it's on both sides of the brush. Okay, so for my purple, I'm just going to have it start on this line right here. So a little bit on top of it. Instead of just below it, I'm going on it. Okay, I'm still using the same brush. I'm just going to be blending that with the purple here. Okay, so I'm going to get more purple. You might have to make up more as you go. If you do, you can just mix blue, red, and white to get a similar color again. It doesn't have to be the exact same. Okay, so I'm going to just get a little water, add it into my paint. I'm going to do my blue, my white, and my red, because I need to make up a little bit more color here. Okay, so you're probably wondering how far down are we going with this purple? So we're gonna just kind of go down another, so it's about like 3 fingers width again, so about here is fine. Just want to be able to see that you have purple. I might add just a tad more red to it because it's not really different than the other color I have, so I just added a tad of red to my purple. This might be different for you. It just depends on how well it's showing up, right? So I just added a tad more red. I just wanted to be able to stand out a little bit more. Yes, that's more of what I was looking for. Yeah, about that far down is fine. Do you ever get those little like dots, like where you can kind of see the canvas coming through? Sometimes I just go back and forth on them and blend them in. That's why my paintbrush is moving so fast there. Okay, so I'm gonna clean my brush because I'm gonna go in to make some pink. So I'm just gonna dab my brush into the bottom of my cup or whatever dish you're using for your water. Just find it cleans it better if you go right to the bottom. And then I'll dry it. We're still going to use this brush a little longer. We're going to make some pink. I'm going to go for like, kind of like a darker pink, a medium pink or so. So I'm just going to take some of that red and then some white. And if it touches like some of my purple over here, I'm not worried, because it's going to touch here. How is it going so far? Any questions, let me know. Okay, so I have this pink here, but I'm going to actually add in just a little bit more blue to it, just a tad purplish, just because I want it to stand out as pink, but more on like the purpley side, just because so it's not super bright. So see how it's still pink, but I added just a dot of blue in there? It just tones it in a little bit more to the painting. It's like a pinky purple. I'll show you it on here. So we're just going to be filling in that gap with this pinky purple. So I just added just a dot of blue in there. See how it still has like, because it's there's a lot of blue here, you want to add just a tad of blue in it to tone it in, to kind of blend well with the painting too. So yeah, that's why I did that. Okay, so we're just filling in this gap. So go on top of this previous purple above, and just, you might have to scrub it in like I'm doing here. Just kind of like doing this and scrubbing it in. It still should be wet here, so it should be easy to blend. If it's not, I'm going to show you what to do here, because this is dry, right? And this pinky purple is wet. So I'll show you what to do there. So if you touch that area like with the paint, that's fine, but we're just going to blend it in. And then yeah, get those sides if you're painting them. Okay, so I'm just toning it all in, blending it. Okay, So now I'll just clean the brush off once you get that done. And then just to blend this area and just have the brush that we were using just clear, no paint on it. And I'm just going to blend this line together so it's not jarring. Just a little bit of water on there goes a long way to blend. See that? It's going to get a little bit of more water. Always tap the napkin so you don't get water drips. And then just blend that down into this blue area until it fades away. So you might have to go back and forth on it over and over until it fades. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. You can put that brush in the water when you're done that. So we have a background now. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes to catch up. Yeah, so let me know where you're at. Your thumbs up or hearts lets me know. Try to go like at a generalized pace as if I was there with you painting. So, but yeah, let me know if you need anything, of course. And this is recorded too, so if you're finding like, oh, I need to like pause, or you feel like you need to pause, then you need to go back to that later. You can share this with a friend or family. You can enjoy a nice little paint class together, a little winter activity to do. Cheers. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to map out where all of my forest trees are. So in my original painting that I shared on the event, there's quite a lot of trees, and this will all depend on your size canvas, of course. So if you're not sure, you can ask or send me a picture later and I can always help you. I'm going to bring forth the original one. I just have it on my laptop. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of trees here, and it's like mostly white. So we have like that background, but it's going to be covered a lot with some white. So that's just kind of the idea. It'll be something similar, of course. Hi, Anne. Oh, no problem. I know the time change has made it a little weird today, right? I don't know what's up or down today. I'm like, where am I? That also could be because I have a 3.5-month-old and I didn't really get much sleep, so. But painting is great for our mental health, and it's like a meditation as well, right? Because it makes you just feel calm and relaxed, and just try to like let yourself just go with the flow and don't worry about what it looks like, okay? We're not here for entering for contests or anything. We're just here to have fun. And I mean, if you do ever want to enter your art in a contest, go ahead. But we're just here to have fun. So, and you know, learn new things, try new things, right? Just so happy you're here. Okay, so I'm gonna use just like a smaller brush. I'm gonna use one of the flat brushes now. So like, if you have one like this or like this, and if you don't have a flat brush is just the brush that's straight at the top. Then you can just use like a tiny brush. I'll get one to show you. Mine fell on the floor, so 1 second. Here it is. So you can also use a brush like this to make the trees. Or the good old Filbert brush that we were just using. Oh, thanks. So I actually didn't make that one. Another artist made that one, and I just loved it so much. I thought it would be really nice to have in my studio because it felt like inspiring to me, you know, like transforming as an artist. The butterflies represent that. So yeah, I really connected with it. The artist that made it, she's local where I am in Listowel. And I'm spacing on her name. I'm so sorry. I'll have to like put it in the comments later. Okay, so let's use our flat brush, wet it, and get some black. we're just going to map out all of these trees. Okay, so we want to create like depth and distance. So we're going to have some up higher and some lower. So I'm going to make a couple that are in the distance at first, and then I'm going to make a couple that are up front. Okay, so just black to start. So to create the ones in the distance, I'm going to kind of go in this like purpley pink area for that, and just plant it into the ground here, which is this bluish area. So just kind of pick the spot, okay, and then I'm going to plant it up, and I'm going to bring it up all the way to the top. So with all of the trees that I'm going to do, I'm going to be bringing them all to the top of the canvas. They're all going to start at different points, but they're all going to end at the top. And trees do not have to be super straight, okay? They can be sideways. They can be thick, thin, funky, right? Forests are full of fun trees. We can just start with like kind of like these stick, like they're going to be a little bit thinner right now, but I'm going to thicken them up. So if they are getting thick on you already, then cool, you're already on the next step. So okay, so I'm going to make another buddy over here, maybe just slightly higher than the other one. So see how that's already creating depth, like I can kind of walk in, right? Now I'm going to make one a little bit lower. I just like to make them on different planes. So this one's like kind of, they're random, right? Like see how they're all a little different. Like if two are on the same area here, that's fine. As long as you have just a variety overall. Okay, let's make another one, like kind of space out. Maybe let's make one slightly on the same level as that one, approximately. I'm going to add branches and all that once I know where my trees are. Okay, so let's make one even lower. And I slightly curved that one. Cool. It's fun to make trees. I'm going to make this a little higher. You might already be done. You know, maybe you don't have any more space, right? Depending on your canvas size. So yeah, just go with like the flow of this. They don't have to be in the exact spot as me. I'm going to start making a couple in the foreground. I'm going to do like a couple like back here. So maybe like sideways, straight tree. These gaps are good to have like some taller ones that are starting down here that we can do wherever you have a gap. And maybe right down here. And I'm going to make one on the edge. I'm going to paint that one right to the edge. Okay. I want to make a couple ones that are right up in the front, so it's going to take a moment to think, you know, where would I want a tall one? So this one here, I might actually just make a tall one instead. So like you already have some trees, right? But maybe you want to just extend one. I'm going to decide to make this one a taller tree. So I'm going to make the base of it wider. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to like section that out. Fill it in with the black. And a little branch decided to want to come there. Okay, I'm just trying to think, where else do I want? I'm going to put one right here and grow it up in between. How's it feel making your trees? Any questions? Let's see in the comments. Any questions? No. Okay. Sometimes I just get in the flow and then forget to look over there. Sometimes it's like you just forget that you're live because you're just in the flow of it and you're like, oh. I'm gonna maybe put one down here. So now we're starting to get more depth in the forest now. Maybe you see a pathway that you want to make, right? Just kind of look at yours and see what kind of trees want to come out. I'm so excited to see everybody's when we're done. And do I want another one? Let's make this guy a tall one. It's going to be a funky tree. Okay. See, I always just take a step back. Maybe hold it up, look at it at a distance, or stand up and look at it, because you'll know what you need, right? You'll know, do I need any more trees? Does it look overcrowded? I mean, it doesn't have to be, even if there's a lot of trees, it wouldn't look bad, but just kind of ask yourself, do I personally want any more trees? We're going to have some branches too. I'm actually thinking I want to have like a little tree come out of here, so I just decided to add that little guy in the distance. Okay, so you can switch to a smaller brush if you want, or if you just feel comfortable still using a flat brush, you can. I'm just going to now start making a couple of branches, so it's just like these little bends, that kind of stuff. So I'll just start over here. I'm going to make this like trunk a little wider. Gotta have a trunk to support the tree branches. Okay. So yeah, they're just kind of like little V's. Some can cross over other trees, especially in a forest. They're not all like, perfectly spaced apart. I'm always going back to make like the bottom just a little wider as I go. I'm just using like the edge of the brush and just like kind of gentle pressure. I just love making branches. We may go back once we put like our snow. We may go back and add a couple branches, because sometimes some of them will disappear. So I'm not trying to overly like get attached to all of them, because some of them might disappear. But you can just start with like a base of branches. You can always go in later and add more. Or if you don't like one, cover it up with snow. I always like to give the base like a little kind of curve. Kind of makes it look like little roots. So like little like kind of triangles at the bottom, just one side even slightly longer. The base of the trunk just gives it like a little bit of a planted look. They're not solid black? Yeah, that's okay. What color are they? It's so cool that my mom here is joining us to paint. So cute. If it's like a gray, that'd be okay. You might have to go back on it. Just have to see how well it stands out amongst the white. Because there's going to be a lot of white. Even if you had brown, you could do brown too. Brown and black. I wonder if your background was still kind of wet. Usually acrylic paint dries so fast, but sometimes it doesn't dry fast when you want it to, so. we'll work on the snow next on the ground. So it does give your trees a chance to dry a bit more. So if some of them you need to touch up with some, make it just a little bit darker, then you can. Who else is painting live today? And if you're watching on the recording, you can always send me a message saying, hey, like, watching the recording. It's always fun to see who's joining. Okay, so yeah, I went a little tree crazy, branch crazy here. I was just having some fun. That's what I got so far. So I'm just going to put that brush in the water, let it dry a bit. Maybe just, if you have an extra paper plate or piece of paper, cardboard, just kind of fan it for a minute or so. Especially if you need to go over it again in some spots. It doesn't all have to be perfectly solid black, but mostly what you want to be kind of a darker shade is the trunks. You want the trunks to show up the most. I'm just fanning it with some random cardboard. We're going to get into the snow again on the ground next. So it's about to get real white. White and gray. There's actually even some yellow in this. There's like white, gray, and yellowy grays. It's interesting. It looks really cool when it's done. It's like an abstract forest. I like to call it abstract realism. Yeah, any questions so far? Okay, so I'm going to show you the bottom. I'm going to see what kind of brush here. We're going to use the fan brushes in for the trees. So I'm just going to use either a flat brush, a larger flat brush, or just like a Filbert brush for the bottom snow. I'll show you, it works either way. So like something like these, either or for the bottom part is fine. Okay, so let's see how this shows up. So I'll just do both brushes. Okay, so the black is going to be still a little bit wet, so you just got to be a little careful. But if you do get grays in there, it's also what I want, so it's totally fine. Okay, so I'm just going to start in like a corner, and I'm going to just tap. So I'm holding the brush flat, straight, and I'm just tapping. And I'm going like right up beside the tree. I'll bring it closer for you in a second. Yeah, this canvas is very long. I'm going to hold it on this side so you can see. Okay. Ooh, it would be so cute to have a little moon back there if it would show. I'm doing it. Sorry, unrelated, but I just put a little moon back there. Sometimes I just get inspiration as I paint. Okay. And yeah, you can always edit this as you go, honestly. So yeah, we're going to just find like a spot and just use the brush flat. And we're just going to start tapping some snow on the ground. So basically wherever you have a tree, right, you're going to just be putting some snow on the bottom. So it's just this like kind of textured look. And if you get some black in there, just like I did, then that's perfect, because no snow is ever just white. Okay. If you end up getting like too much black on your brush, just wipe it off on a napkin and reapply some white on your brush. So I'm just going like right beside the tree. I'm going to put this down because it's awkward to hold. And it's either or with the flat brush, so same thing. At the same time, if you get it on your trees, it's also like a 2-in-1 because it looks like some snow fell on the edge of the tree. So it's like a bonus. Yeah, all I'm doing now is just tapping. But if I'm getting too much white, or I'm black, sorry, I mean, just wipe off your brush on your napkin and just get some more white. It'd be fine to have gray in there. We just won't have too much of it. Okay, so the gray in there is also creating shadow as well. Like, you don't want just white. You have some shadow under the trees. There's lots of different things going on. You could always turn the brush this way if you're getting near the trees. You can access that easier. We're gonna have little sticks in the ground too, so lots of fun things going on. We're just kind of getting that undertone of snow color going now. With the blue underneath, you're gonna get like a tinge of blue. So it's all working in our favor. Okay, so as we go along here, just before I get far over there, with the snow that's kind of meeting this pinky purpley area, I'm just going to tap it upwards, kind of like making it look like bushes. So like little taps upwards as I go, just to show that there's more things going on in the background. So see how I kind of put these tapping up just so it makes it look like things are going on in the distance now. I just wiped my paint off because I was getting too much black. See, I'm kind of like burying the trunks. By tapping instead of blending, tapping, it's going to be easier than blending at this point for snow, because all you're going to do is just blend in all the colors. Oh, let's see what this says. The moon is very mesmerizing. I know, it just needed a moon, eh? It just told me to make the moon. The painting, the art wants to be created. So you're the creator, and we're all gonna have such different pieces tonight, and it's just fun to see what happens, because this art wants to be created and it just needs someone to make it. Despite what it looks like. I remember when I was near the end of my pregnancy and I was not intending to paint and just walked by like my art studio, and I was gonna go like have a bath. I wasn't planning on painting. I was tired. I was like 30 something weeks pregnant, and something kept saying to me like, go in there and paint. And I'm like, okay, like I guess I'll go paint, you know. I haven't painted in a while, and I love to paint obviously, but I was just tired. And I sat down and looked at a canvas, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I gonna paint? And I thought, well, let's like make like a forest or something, because I love to make nature scenes. But that wasn't what wanted to be created that day. What wanted to be created was actually a painting of me holding my daughter, and a little like, so there's like two parts there. Like there was me pregnant and then me holding her when she was born. So it's just really cool that came through, and that I just painted a person like myself. Like I don't usually paint people, so it was completely wanting to be created. So that's why I just go with the flow. So I'm starting to cover like some tree trunks just a little bit. We might replant some of them. We'll see. We'll see how it looks. It's all part of the process. So yeah, how's this going for you so far? The bushes and the base is of snow happening now. Just step back, you know, do you have any areas that have too much black? Like that area for me, I want a little more white, so I just tap on some white. Sometimes you gotta have things dry. Sometimes that happens. Okay, I want to put just like a little bit of blue into this, so like just a tinge. Like I have that white on my brush, but I'm just taking a little bit of blue and I'm just going to apply it, just randomly tapping like here and there between the snow. Kind of like just random, maybe focusing more on the tops because it's distant, so it's creating like some depth in the distance. So you have a little bit of blue up in the snow. See, I'm actually just going to mostly focus it on these bushes that are far away because it's a reflection of the sky. Can we see that? Oh, of course. Thanks you for letting me know. It's probably hard to see. Okay, so yeah, I put a little bit of blue up in these like bushy areas when we tapped upwards. Just a little bit of blue. If you end up getting too much blue, just put some white back. But just kind of up here is nice because it shows that like a little bit of reflection of the sky. Do you see that a little better? It's such a long canvas that it's hard to like show every inch of it actually. I've never really painted live with a big long canvas like this. But yeah, any size canvas is cool. This means that your forest is, so say you have this size of canvas, right? Does not matter. I just wanted something, I like painting on different sizes, you know, it makes it fun. The one I was telling you about, the pregnancy painting, was a circle canvas, so that was fun. Oh, I'm so happy to hear my daughter Claire is watching us. And my husband. Hi, Claire. She's only 3.5 months, so she probably doesn't know what I'm doing. Well, she knows it's me, though, which is cute. Okay, so I'm just touching up anything under here, just a bit. Okay. So now, I want to kind of leave this be for a little bit, let it dry a little. If you need to put more white into it, you have to let it dry at this point because it will be hard to get more white to show up after a while. But a little trick too, like if you don't want to like wait forever for it to dry, especially if it's pretty thick, just finger paint. So just take some white and tap on top because it's going to show up a lot easier if you use your finger. It's just magic. She says hi. She's growing so much. She's starting to practice getting ready for rolling. So that's exciting. And she like smiles at us a lot now and babbling, so it's really cute. What was I gonna do? Oh yes. Okay. I'm gonna take one of these little brushes with a little bit of water and black. I just want to like touch up just a tad of some of the tree. Okay. So like if some of that white took over some of your trees, just like add it in just a little bit, like kind of like, see how I'm like replanting it a bit, but then maybe I'll just finger paint to the bottom there just to like, so it's not super bold. Okay. So it's this kind of just optional. So like here kind of disappeared and you want it to be disappearing a bit, but I'm just adding just gentle little bit of branch like back just here and there, right? But if it becomes too bold, just tap it and it just helps to soften it. Like here I have a bit of a gap, so I want to make sure that I'm putting that in there. It just helps define it. We're going to do that, I'm sure, with the trees as well, like with their pine trees is what the goal is, so. And just a little, I want to make this one slightly lower. So this is kind of optional, like I'm just kind of showing you what happens when you do that, but always tapping the bottom. You know, I hear her talking down there, it's so cute. Right? It's so exciting. And I'm gonna make a little like stump over here. So yeah, so that's just optional, just some ideas. It's something like that I'd have to see your canvas for to help you with, but I'm sure you will get it. It's all good. I'm just gonna make like some random, now that like I have the snow here, I'm just gonna do a couple little branches like down lower, just here and there, because it just gives it even more depth, like even more. See that? Just a couple here and there. As you go along, like you start to see things, right? So just go with that flow. If you are like loving how it is, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, we're almost ready for the pine area where it gets kind of more white again. It's up to you how white it gets. But that's when I'm going to be using the fan brush, and you don't want to wet it, okay? So if you've already wet it, just dry it. Don't wet it. I find it works better when it's dry. And or flat brush. So our flat brush is probably wet because we've already used it. So just take it out of your water if you haven't already, and just dry it off, okay? As best as you can. It doesn't have to be perfectly dry. Just don't want it soaking wet. So whatever brush you're going to use for that, just make sure it's dry. So yeah, this painting could be done as it is here already, right? Like there's always so many things that you can do with your art, but I just like to let people know, like, you know, as you go along, like if you are like, oh, I love this how it is, or if you just want to do some snow, like if you use like the back of your brush and just did some snow falling, like that could be a painting on its own too. So I just like to tell people that, like, so they're not, you know, you're not feeling like it has to be a certain thing, because that's not what art is. It's just, it's fun. It's free. Free flowing. Okay, I'm thinking, okay, so if you're not doing any more white down here, which I don't think I will, like if I did, I might just use like my finger here and there, but like I don't need it to be super white. Like I want it to be white enough, but not super white. I'm just gonna use a little bit of finger painting here because I'm debating right now. I really want this area to be dry, so I'm thinking I'm gonna do a couple little sticks in the ground. So that's just with black and a mini flat brush, and that gives the other brush time to dry if you didn't have it dry. I know, eh? Yeah, that's what I said. It can be anything. Who wants to see Claire? She's up here and awake. Say hi. Mama's painting. Mama's painting. Is that nice? Say hi. We have some people online joining me to paint. I think she approves. Bye. She's getting so big. I'm gonna use, yeah, the flat brush and make a couple little sticks. You could do brown too if you wanted. If there's a lot of, this is a lot of black. You can do some brown. Let's do some brown. I'm gonna do black, but then just take a little bit of yellow, red. You can just do black too if you don't want to make brown or have brown. I already had black on my brush, so I did a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red, a little bit of blue. You just use the primary colors to make brown. And I always find like brown, it turns, before you get brown, you basically make green. So I always add red. Red is what makes it more of the brown. It can be a dark brown, so there. I'm gonna do brown sticks. And all that is just a couple random little sticks in the ground. So they're just kind of sideways. Some are straight, some are sideways. In my original painting, I had a whole whack of sticks, so that's what this is about. And again, optional. Thank you. I know, eh? She's so cute. She's a happy little girl. So I just want to kind of stick crazy there, but just a little bit of brown or paint on there because it will become pretty bold if you just, if you get it too thick, just put some, get that finger painting out and just tap. Like I might even just do a little bit under some of the sticks, just here and there, because sometimes, you know, they might get too bold. So you just kind of bury them in snow a little bit. Just showing you some different things. Little sticks. Oh, it's a lot of white. If you get a lot of white, just tap it around until it fades in. So yeah, you could have a completed painting. I'm going to actually do the snow just to show you what it could look like. Because when I do the pine leaves, it's going to be covered anyways. And you could also do green. I was thinking too. If you don't want like a whole lot of white. So I just use a little bit of paint on the back. And if you just wanted like a snow scene, just do like as much snow as you want. Like some of my snow still might show through even though I'm doing this right now. And just kind of just tap around here, like as much snow, you know, how snowy is it in your world? Sorry. Is it super thick, super thin, blizzard? These could even be stars if you did yellow and white. Some of this still will probably show through when I do the next step of making all the pine needle leaves. But I just wanted to show you like what it could be too. And for that, like you would slightly put a little bit of snow like on some of your branches. So if you're making it snow, just use the back of the brush and just pick a couple random spots on the tree to be snow covered, right? Because it is snowing, so there's going to be snow on the branches. So that would be something that you would do if you are making it snow. And even if you're going to do the next part with me where you're adding the leaves in, like this is still fine to have on here. I just find the back of the brush works so nice. It gives you a little more control and it gives it like a textury look, which makes it look like snow, like a little bit thicker, right? So I find the back of the brush just really helps. And I didn't have it on every single inch of the trees because like that would take forever. And the snow might not all land on those exact spots, so I'm just picking random spots. You have to tap a fair bit when you are doing this, just because the back of the brush doesn't carry as much snow. And if you ever get a thick spot, just put some black on it. But yeah, I'll keep going with the snow here just so you can see what it looks like. I'll just do a little bit more. Less pressure is smaller. Little snowflakes. More pressure is thicker, bigger snowflakes. I'm going to touch up my moon just a bit because I wanted to round it out a bit. And I want it to look bigger than my snowflakes. So. This is like so peaceful. The one thing about winter is it is always so quiet. Like, I just love that. Like, it makes it feel so calm, peaceful, especially after like a fresh snowfall. There. I'm going to wipe off the back of that brush so I don't get it on my face. Okay, so that's what it looks like if you are making it snow and you put a little bit of snow on some of those branches with the back of the brush. You could have yourself a completed painting right now. And say, you know, you do this next part with me to finish it off and you don't like it. Well, the good thing is that this video is recorded. You could always go back and you can make it again, right? So, I just wanted to show you guys what to do with a fan brush if you had one of these in your kits. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you now what to do with it and how it looks. So I'm going to take that fan brush, not wet. I'll show you it with the flat as well. I'm just going to start with the fan. So it's a fan brush because it looks like a fan. Okay, so basically with this is you start somewhere. I'm going to leave like a little bit of a gap just so I can see some of my background here. And then all you do, so I think I might have too much white on here, so I'm just going to tap off a little bit on the napkin. You don't want a whole lot of white, a whole lot of paint on there. Okay, and you just start to tap, and you just go back and forth, kind of like a zigzag. I'm going to hold it like this. And you just go up. So this is where it's going to start getting really filled in. And it's going to take a little bit of layering. Okay, but I'm going to be connecting like all of these trees. So I guess I should have just started on one of the edges. I can start at the top too. Oh my gosh, my words are depleting me. And yeah, you get yourself these like little fan leaves. You can flip it upside down. You get different directions this way. If you're like this and like this. Okay, let me show you what the flat does too before I get too fanned here. So just a little bit of white on the flat brush. And then I'll just do it over here. Leave a bit of a gap and just tap back and forth. So this is why I wanted that black to be dry, because otherwise you're going to get a whole lot of gray. You just tap back and forth. It gives it a slightly different appeal, but it's still semi the same. I'm just going to fill it in like once you've kind of set it out, and then you just start to make it more attached, basically, like a line versus not like a literal line, but just something that's a little more filled in. I love having my trees full. Yeah, I can still see some of my snow in the background, so that's really nice. There we go. So yeah, whatever brush like feels good for you, or whatever one you have. It's all the same. Does anyone have one of these that you're using today? So it's going to get pretty white. I'm just going to tap, tap, tap everywhere. I'm going to add in some other color just on top of it once I've gone across. Like I'm going to do like a yellowish gray. I know it sounds weird, but it looks really good. So I'm just making some areas like a little bit thicker, thinner, right? It's pretty snowy here in my scene. I'm trying to be mindful of gaps as well, so that way it's not all, maybe you could even just focus the fan brush on just some of the branches. Depends on the size of your fan brush. Like this fan brush is kind of big, but I can work with it. But if you're new to a fan brush, just depends on like the size of your canvas. So you can always practice on something else too before you do it. And I'm also going to put in a little bit of the branch back. Like I said, when you do this, you will lose some of your branches. So I'm going to be applying some of it back. Can you see it? It's so long, this canvas. It's a 20 by 8. But yeah, once you get the hang of this, it does look really cool. Like it makes it look like thick snow is falling on the trees, right? Might have to go back and touch up some other areas. I started with less paint on the brush. Sometimes I just tap into the paint and then the napkin and then the canvas. Just because sometimes it can come out, I like to start thin and then get thicker because it's easier to go thicker than thinner. So I'm going to add a little bit of a branch back in there. I kept my moon showing through there. It's just a crazy winter day. And then I might even just take some of this and just apply it like down here. There. So yeah, what do you think of the fan brush? It definitely takes some getting used to. It's up to you how full you want your trees to be. I'm gonna go in and add just a bit more of my branches back. So like, it's kind of now just like wherever yours are, right? I can't really tell you exactly because I don't see yours. But you can add some of them back. Like, I have a white area here, and I've added black on top, like above it, to make it look like this was in the front. So like, sometimes you can add new ones, right? Maybe you have a white area like this, I can attach something to, right? And then you can touch up any of these trunks, right? Let's see. I'm gonna add a little bit. Sometimes I just have to, you know, take a moment, step back. Where do I want? Just a little bit. But I might be getting ahead of myself because I should probably do a little bit of the yellowish gray color. I'll just show you what it looks like. So you just do a little bit of yellow, white, and tad of black. Yellow, white, tad of black. It's definitely more on the yellow side right now, but I'm going to add more white to it. I'm going for like a grayish yellow, so the yellow is more faded in. Kind of looks, I guess it just looks like a green. I'm going to get a little bit more white though. I'm not quite done with that color. Oh, hi, Glenna. Thank you. You should try to follow along or watch the recording if you can and paint. Okay, so I'm just making like this grayish yellowy color. It's kind of like a green. Like an olive color? Yeah. I'm just going to add it now just a little bit in the trees just to give it some different depth. So I'm going to move that closer so you can see. Okay. So I have this grayish greeny color. I'm just adding it to like the bottoms of these areas, just the bottom of wherever these thicker white areas are. Just here and there, just to help break up some of the white. It does make a big difference Gives it a little bit of contrast. If it looks too like thick, I just like to tap it. A little bit of finger paint in there, or if you lose some of that white, you can just put that back. Like right here, I got too much. Sorry, I might be covering it with my finger there, but just so you know, like what to do if you get too thick of something. You don't have to do this either. I'm just adding a little bit in, maybe just here and there, right? Just gives it a little bit of a pop. It's definitely trickier to hold that canvas. So I kind of just put it underneath like a shadow, basically, is what this is about. Just use the same brush that you did the original leaves with, so that way it looks the same. Helps just break up the colors a little bit. Might even add just a little bit of it down here. Just random little taps. If you get too much, just add some white. I don't overly think about where I want things, I just kind of go with it. And I always can tone it back in with a little bit of white. A little bit of white, like so. Just because when I added some of that greenery down there, it got too bold in some spots. I just love finger painting, so you can do it with just a brush too. Okay. So now, yeah, the final kind of thing is just looking for any branches that you want to pull back through, or any of the trunk, you know, that you feel like you want back. Then that's what you would do next. And that is basically if you have areas that look, I don't know, like your tree just looks off or something. Like, let me try to find. So like right here, I feel like this one's kind of thick. So I'm gonna just put like a little bit of my branch back, even just on one side of it. So now it looks like that's in the distance. Hopefully that makes sense. That was too much white, too much black. Let's tap it in. Okay, so any questions? Because that is basically all the steps I have. So, like I said, if you made it this way and you go back and make the other way, like, whatever you desire. You can have a version of both. And you can just kind of make a couple up and have some fun learning some new things. So, yeah. I really love to come online, paint with everybody tonight. Let's kind of put that back in the viewpoint. Sorry about that. Alright, so I'll stick around for a couple mins just to make sure everybody is good and doesn't have any questions, that type of stuff. Otherwise, just put your brushes into the water, get them all cleaned up. I have some yellow here that I did not use, so I'm going to scoop that back into my big giant jugs that I have, because this is a great way to, if you didn't touch your paint and it didn't go all, you know, thick, you can just return it. Because sometimes I just pour out way too much paint, and I'm sure we all are guilty of that. Also, what I like to do with my leftover paint is I just smash it onto a plate, or I call it a plate painting. So, smash it onto an extra canvas that you might have, or maybe an old painting you don't like. You can just remake it into something new. Okay, so just kind of put that back here so you can see. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you for joining. So much fun. So yeah, I want to do one in December. I'm not sure when yet, but we will. yeah, I may or may not do December yet. We'll see. We'll see how things go, because December is a crazy month. And anyway, so I have some leftover paint here. I'm just gonna take it and like put it onto this canvas here. Has been a collection of leftover paint. So I'm just gonna kind of slap it on. Sorry, I think it like lost connection for a second. So I took the leftover paint and just plopped it on an old canvas. Makes it for good fun. And you're not wasting anything. You never know, you might get a famous abstract painting that people buy for millions. That's what my goal is there. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Hope you had a great time. Hope you learned something new. And yeah, let me know how it went for you. Please send me a photo of your art. It can be sent to me privately in my inbox, or it can be just posted in the event, or just directly to this page. And yeah, just share your art with other people. It's so fun to see. All right, well, have a good night. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.